Welcome to this Advanced Performance podcast. I'm John Bullock, and today with me is Heather Wright.
Hi, John. Today
we're going to be talking about, it's election day today, so I thought it'd be quite prominent if we did a podcast on the election. But my question is, do we vote for policy or do we vote for people? Do we vote for everything that the party stands for, or do we vote for the way that maybe their leaders get it across? So I know you're going to kick us off on this podcast, and you're actually going to kick us off by starting talking to us about Sandy Toksvig. Is that right?
Yeah, I know. I was frightened you were going to go down some sort of political thing, John, so I thought, I'm not doing that. Our people don't want to hear that. No, but the point is, a couple of weeks ago I heard that Sandy Toksvig, you know, the comedian, or comedienne, I think you should call her, is going to start her own political party because she's Danish, and in her country, she says there's more equality for women and all of this kind of stuff, and she's going to start a political party. And I thought, I like her. I like Sandy Toksvig. I know, you know, we all have our different opinions, don't we? But I like Sandy Toksvig. I think I'd want to look into that. Because you warm to certain people, don't you?
You do.
On the other hand, my fear then, of course, is that we get. I know we joke about politicians being a load of comedians, but you don't suddenly want Dara O'Brien to start another party, and then
of course.
Michael McIntyre to start a party. But Sandy Toksvig is known for being quite a clever, she's a clever woman. She's clever and quite political.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it also occurs to me, of course, that I was driving along the other day, and I've got an 18-year-old son and a 23-year-old son. 23-year-old son's quite clued up on the voting. My 18-year-old son, obviously, he's only just allowed to vote, and he's asking me about who should I vote for, because no one's been knocking on our door. And I say it's really difficult because nowadays politicians don't seem to stand for anything. They seem to be a politician. They're a professional politician, so they've not worked particularly, a lot of them, and they suddenly become they work towards being a politician. Whereas someone like Sandy Toksvig finds something she's passionate about and then starts a party because she's passionate about it, as opposed to, I want to be a politician, which party will I join?
Yeah, and really good point.
And will we tell people in order to win votes, or will we have something that we're so passionate about that's going to be our manifesto? And if people vote for us, it's because they believe in that.
Yeah, I think you make a series of really great points there. It's quite interesting, isn't it, at the moment, because a few years ago, it was, if you wanted to be a successful politician, potentially, if that's the reason you went into it, you would look at your two big parties. Whereas actually now, we've got 5 or 6 or 7 parties that are all going, actually, we stand for X, Y, and Z now. It's not as clear cut as it was before. And I take your point. I also like Sandy Toksvig, so that is a winner.
That's 2 votes.
Absolutely, yeah. But I understand the point you're trying to make. She's starting the party for the passion she's in. She's not just going to I want to be a politician, so which party do I sit in?
Yeah.
And I think for me, this difference between policy and people is, there's a lot of people, obviously people have been talking about the election for months now, especially in the last few weeks with it coming up. And the amount of people that, are talking to me, who are you going to vote for? I'm going to vote for them because I think they'll do the best for the country, and, they've got the best policies. And, in the right circles, I would really like to ask the question, when people say something like that, they've got the right policies. My question would be, so have you read the manifesto? How many people actually, let's be honest, sit down and get a copy of the manifestos and go, well, there's 7 parties or 6 parties to choose from. Yeah. Which one shall I actually read, and then spend a lot of time considering and undoing? Because we've all got busy lives. So my key question is we might hear what we hear on the media.
Yeah.
We listen to maybe the party. I get my words out in a minute. Party political broadcasts.
Yeah.
And we see it come across. But is it the content that we're hearing that we're likening to, or is it the way that it's coming across? Is it the person that's coming across? So is David Cameron a better speaker than Ed Miliband or any of the other party for that matter? Which one's showing the most passion? It was on the news recently that the Conservatives haven't been giving enough passion into it. What does that mean? So is it the policy? Is it actually, well, they're going to do this, this, and this? Because a lot of the time, these policies slightly change when they get into power anyway. Yeah. If I dare say. But or is it the case of that, you've got the better showman, you've got the better person that can get buy-in, get an emotional buy-in to people out there.
And obviously they spend a lot of time getting someone sorting out their body language and everything else. And that can be frustrating. It can mask the issues, can't it? For me, it's about deciding what you feel passionate about There was a school locally who's done a cracking job, and what they did was they summarised the different ideas. So they called it Party 1, Party 2, Party 3, Party 4, Party 5, Party 5, Party 6, and they said education, NHS, and they just summarised in a little paragraph each one, and they asked the school kids to read those and tick off which ones they thought was a good idea.
Interesting.
And then at the end of it, after they said, well, which one has the most ticks? And they go, I put most ticks on Party 3, or I put the most ticks on Party 4, and then they revealed which party it was. That was a really good idea, and maybe something that could be available to all of us. I mean, they dumb it down for school kids, but maybe they should do the same thing.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea there, is it?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, we're running out of time now. We've come to the end, so we've got everything from the passion of starting your own party there with Sandy Toxvig, and let's read the policies, I think, as well as you're going to warm to certain people, aren't you? But by this time tomorrow, we should certainly know. Now, obviously, unless you're listening to the podcast a few days after we've done it. But
they already know.
We hope you've enjoyed this podcast. It's been an Advanced Performance podcast. Please listen in to our next podcast in the series. Have a great day.